All right. I think we're live.
Awesome.
How are you today, Aaron?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. Good to see
Nice
you.
to see you.
Always love chatting with you. A rock star agent, sold over 3,000 homes. So always love chatting with you. I appreciate you coming on and sharing some with us today.
For sure.
So let me
Anytime.
ask you to start with, which has nothing to do with real estate. Is it hot as heck down there? It is daggum 97 in Nashville, humid. It's unbelievable.
104 Saturday, I believe it was.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't have any room to complain. I
Yeah,
think we're
it's
supposed to hit 100
super hot.
tomorrow. In June. This is June.
Yeah, we're in for a long summer, I think.
I'm afraid we are. Yeah, I'm afraid we are. Well, hey, let's just jump into it. So, Aaron, like I just mentioned, you've sold over 3,000 homes in your career, so you are a stud man in the real estate industry. So, why don't we go? So, why don't you take me back? Like, give us the overview of your real estate journey. So, you've been doing it what, 20 years now?
Yeah, so I'm working into my 21st year. It's 20 years as of September. So um, I was actually a high school teacher, art teacher, and baseball and basketball coach. So used to working long hours, get to the school at 5:36 in the morning, don't leave till 9 or 10 at night if there was a game night, So was used to that. I was getting burnt out on that. And actually I bought my first house and I was the easiest client known to mankind. I walked into a real estate office, if that happens ever, or I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
But I did walk in. I got approved for a mortgage within a couple hours. They handed me a list of homes to go look at. I went and drove by them, then went to see them. And by time start to finish, I was under contract in 4 hours.
Wow.
So I was like, man, she made more in 4 hours than I'm making a whole month teaching and coaching. I was looking for something new anyway. So I did correspondence, got into it, got my real estate license, did it part-time for about 9 months or so. And then I decided at the end of that school year, I was going to go full-time. So full-time for about 9 months, little small boutique Prudential office is where I started.
Mm.
And after about the first 9 months, got to June-ish of that next year, I got into a coaching program, fresh and new. One of the things that I think really helped me in my career was when I got into real estate, the MLS was DOS. So it was that blue screen. You couldn't do anything with it, email out of it, but I had enough computer knowledge and friends that did that. They built me a program where I could actually email listings. So for about a year and a half, I was the only person I knew of that could email
listings. Were dominating.
I was dominating the buyers.
When I got in, I think we used the books. I don't even think
I
don't even think we had the MLS system.
Yeah, we had the up desk with the book with all the listings in it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to go through logging into the DOS system, which took a little while you're on the phone. You just flip to it and stuff. So definitely a different kind of real estate. Then I left there, went to Keller Williams in 2003, stayed there till 2009. At one point, I was one of their top 50 agents, top 5 always at the office in Southlake, Texas. And then I opened up my own brokerage in the height of the downturn in 2009, April 1st of 2009, April Fool's Day. And the funny thing
ended up being a full, didn't it? Fool's Day for sure.
Yeah, and then 9 years later to the date, April 1st of 2018, I joined EXP.
Awesome.
So I don't know why it worked out that way, but that's just the way it worked out. So I was my own broker for 9 years. Now I've been with EXP a little bit over 4 years.
Okay.
So adds up to a long time, and I'm old.
Not as old as me. Although every birthday I have, I count myself back 5 years. So
there we go.
I'm getting younger. So you kind of mentioned through that journey that you got into the coaching program. So you were in Craig Proctor's coaching, weren't you?
I was in Craig's system for like 14 or 15 years. Long time.
Yeah. So I did that back in the day for a while. I was in their platinum program. You and I never knew each other back then, but but it was I think it actually was the best, when we were probably part of it. And you were in it for longer than me. I was in it for several years, but we paid a lot of money to be in that coaching program for sure.
We did, but the thing that was the most beneficial to me, one, it taught me marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
how to market to get leads, how to
Yeah.
market my properties, how to set myself apart with unique
Yeah.
selling propositions. It taught me how to do presentations to buyers and sellers, with a PowerPoint, not
Yeah.
just going in winging it. Other than that, like before I got in that coaching program, my first 13 listing appointments, I didn't get any of them.
Oh,
So I was good at getting them. I just couldn't convert.
couldn't
So
convert them.
it really helped. Obviously, I've done okay since then
Yeah.
with conversion, and I owe a lot to that program, plus the relationships I formed in there.
Yeah.
Now I can utilize those same relationships and still leverage those to mastermind with people like you and
Yeah.
people all over the country and
Yeah.
even in other countries that keep me abreast on what's going on, what's the newest things, the latest, greatest, so we can keep inventing new things for our business to help our clients.
That's the thing. I mean, I've been doing real estate 24 years. And if I have seen anything, I feel like these last 2-3 years or so, man, this innovation is going at lightning speed. I mean,
For sure.
it is, we have to just, it's an everyday, I wouldn't say battle, but it's an everyday thing that we as agents have to be abreast of, right? Staying on top of all the new things, right? All the different ways, for marketing our properties and, getting clients and all of the stuff that goes into it. And I swear, I feel like the last 3 years, it's on a super speed track with that, innovation.
Yeah. And I think that's one reason that you have to have a group, whether it be a coaching program or a mastermind or your brokerage has to offer something where you can learn those things. Like I found out about, for instance, like Matterport cameras. Now that was all the rage back when COVID happened.
Yeah.
I'd already owned that system for 5, 6, 7 years before that.
Right.
So we own the equipment and been doing them for multiple years. So we were able to instantly put that into our business because it was already there and set ourselves apart where other people had to scramble to find people that would do it or go buy the equipment or what have you.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about it because we were, told about the systems long before most agents were utilizing them.
Yeah. Yeah. So if today, knowing what you know now, 20 years later, and you were just starting out, because we've got people that's going to be listening that are newer agents, people that have been in it for a long time, like you or I, but if you were just starting out and looking back at, and could tell yourself 20 years ago, with the knowledge that you have today, what would you have told yourself to, that you would have done differently, if anything?
It's evident to me, like I hear that question that instantly pops to mind. I don't say I was a transactional agent, but very much was. I was completely focused on marketing, creating new opportunity, getting new business continually, like just churning. And I kind of let my past database and clients fall a little bit to the wayside. I didn't treat them the way they should. If I had spent half the money that I had spent on getting new business on my business that already knew, like, and trust me, I probably would have sold 5,000 homes instead of 3,000.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So, that was the biggest thing, is taking care of that database and treating the people that already know, like, and trust you with the proper respect, because they've already put that trust in you, and just keep delivering. Right?
Yeah.
So we're really focusing on that now. And those transactions are much easier. I would say better, friendlier,
right.
About them just feels good,
Well, because you build that relationship with people during the process. And then like you said, many times it's like, we've got so much going on. It's just to the next transaction, you're trying to make sure you're doing the great job during the transaction, and it's always sort of moving forward. And many times, really, like, to me, you're spot on what you're talking about. Like, we need to do a bit, and as an industry, we're not, unfortunately, I think what you just said is pretty commonplace, right? In our industry, and we do need to do a better job of staying in touch, because I'm sure you, like myself, like, again, like many times through the transaction, like, I love my clients, and I become friends with some of my clients, and we do stay in touch afterwards, but probably more than not, we're not like friendly outside of real estate, right? All the time, every day, which is sad. It does make me sad, because we do, develop such good relationships with people through the transaction. So that's a great point. And
Yeah.
so if agents are on here listening, like from long-term veterans, if there's anything that would, I would 100% agree with what you said, is we got to do a better job of staying in touch with our past clients.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest problems in the real
Yeah.
estate business. Like you said, is I think the inherent problem is, oh, that's one transaction. Let's move on to the next one. They don't see that as creating multiples, from referrals and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd say the other issue that I see in the industry is just the low barrier of entry, right?
Yeah.
So anybody can get a real estate license pretty easily. Like I was on Groupon the other day, I got an email from them, and it was real estate license courses were marked 50% off, like $300. I'm like, this is why our industry has a bad name, because anybody can get it.
Right.
And then they think, oh, it's just easy to do it, which it's,
right.
You are dealing with somebody's, most of the times, biggest asset. So
yeah, right.
You have to put the work into, one, know the industry, two, know your market and who you're serving, and then three, do it very diligently. So
yeah, that's right.
You
know what? A lot of times agents, and I don't know that I'm pretty sure I didn't actually 24 years ago. We don't realize when you get into the real estate business that you are starting your own business. You are starting your own business. And so we don't get into this business many times. First of all, it's a low entry, like you said. It's very easy to get your real estate license and to be able to get into the business, and then dealing with people's biggest assets. And it's really about learning how to run a full business. That's what we're doing. You have to, I tell new agents here all the time, like if you were to go open a pizza shop today, you're not going to go run the cash register. You're not going to go drop the pizza. You're not going to go make the pizza, put it in the oven. You're not going to be the one getting the car to go deliver it. But when we get in the real estate business, that's what we are. We want to do all things. And we don't really think about setting it up as a true business.
And true business has leverage. You're leveraging technology, right. You're leveraging people and systems. Those are really the three things you're leveraging, right?
That's
so
right.
If you're out there taking pictures with your iPhone of your new listing that's coming on, you're not leveraging yourself properly. You should have a professional photographer going out there to do that. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little money, but it's going to return you a lot in the long term, or in the short term, really, because that home's going to sell faster for more money because you have better photos to market with.
Yeah. So right now with your current business is, I know your wife is working with you, Amanda's working with you. And then, so do you have other people that's part of your team, or is it just you and her right now?
Yeah, it's me and Amanda. And then our oldest son, Hunter, also has his license.
Family affair.
And I do have an admin, and I got a couple other people I can lean on that we're part of the team. Will still take leads and business from us if they need to. And work like the team, but they're realistically independent contractors now. Where they're out on their own, generating their own business. So we've kind of scaled back. As in my heyday, so to speak, I got up to like 12 agents, and it was like adult daycare. You're trying to get people to do what they should be doing, and then they're complaining that things aren't successful, but they weren't doing the things to make themselves successful. So it's that constant grind, and it's that churn of, okay, that agent wants to leave, got to find a new one, so we found a way to get our business to a place where we can be very effective as a small unit. And we have a lot of leverage on the back end through systems, tools, technology, and admin staff to take care of all the stuff that we don't want to do.
So kind of talking about that, and talking about running a business, what would you say would be the first thing or two from a technology standpoint, from setting your business up standpoint? What would you say would be the first one or two tools that an agent should put in place?
You need a CRM that you're going to use. So a contact relationship management software that you're going to use, whether that is Excel spreadsheets or whether that is one of the million things that are out there. There's so many that you can utilize. I know EXP gives you one for free, and KV Core. And then from that point, I'd say your very first hire should either be an admin that's going to take stuff off your plate, or a transaction coordinator that's going to run the transaction from time of contract all the way through, either putting it in the MLS as a listing or all the way through to closing if it's a listing or a buyer. Because that's going to take a lot of that busy work of making sure every I's dotted and T's crossed. and getting those documents in the appropriate place. Again, with EXP, we use SkySlope, which is a huge time saver. We love it. But I still have a TC that does all my transaction coordination.
I heard a few years back that the average transaction paperwork wise is about 19 hours. Like that's a lot of hours that we spend in paperwork if we're doing all that ourselves, right? And if you're doing a lot of production like you're doing, I mean, you can get just so time sucked just doing the paperwork, not even being able to go out there and market and do all the things that we need to do, for our business and for our listings and for our customers, for sure. So you had mentioned, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, just to add on to that is, you need to look at, okay, what are you making or what do you want to make per year and figure that out per hour. And if you are making per hour more than what it would cost you to go hire somebody, go hire somebody. Because now you can leverage that free time into doing more of the things that are going to produce more business or more income for your business.
And that you very well may, be best at, right? Those
absolutely.
Things. Exactly. I mean, I've heard it over the years that includes mowing your yard, cleaning your house, all of those things. I mean, if you can pay somebody less per hour than what you're making per hour doing your business, then from a business perspective, completely makes sense. Right. So you had mentioned, as we were talking, obviously you're over here at EXP, but prior to that, you had your own independent for 9 years, and kind of around this whole thing of talking about business. That's something that I talk to a lot with agents. I feel like, we all feel like we're in business, but, if you have ever read Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, he talks about, right, a true business owner is somebody that's leveraged and has systems, exactly what you've been talking about, and also somebody who can leave their business for 6 months or more and it keep running without them, right? Not depend on them being there. And he was like, if you can't do that, you really just are self-employed and you own a job, which is most agents, right? So, and I've thought over the years, after reading that book many years ago, how do we as agents truly do that? How do we build a business? Well, it's usually start a team, buyer's agents, listing agents, maybe, right? All of that. But then what happens? We're responsible for generating leads to give to those agents, right? And then the very few, like yourself, you go off and open your own independent company. But again, the only way to get leverage is hiring, or bringing on agents, right? Helping to train those people. Maybe you're not responsible for giving them leads, but now you got liability, risk, overhead, everything that goes along with that, right? And so you did that for 9 years. And so as an independent, most agents think that is when you've arrived. When, man, if I could have my own company and I could keep all my own money, right? All of, that's where agents think that they really arrive. So what made you, after 9 years, when you looked at EXP, what made you make the move, and beyond that, what problem did that solve for you, if any?
Well, I mean, I say this a little bit in jest, but not really. I mean, there's a reason they call it a broker. Because literally you are a broker.
You're a broker than the rest.
Yeah, you have way more overhead. You have all the liability. Yeah. So if somebody messes up and they don't even tell you they mess up, and you get a lawsuit that shows up, which happened to me. I didn't even know this happened. They didn't even turn the transaction into me. But it rolls uphill to me, right? So, or the broker. So yes, I would say there are some brokers that are very successful, but it's very, very few. If they're a brokerage with less than 100 agents, you probably are making more money as an independent under a brokerage, honestly, because just so much goes into it. And yes, you think that is the tip of the iceberg, or that's where you want to get to as an agent, or an agent that has a team. I want to get away from the franchise, so to speak, or the big corporation. I want to be my own thing. Yeah. And the problem is all the trouble comes with having your own thing that you didn't really realize. And you spend more time doing that than what made you successful, which was selling homes, right? Yeah. So when EXP was presented, it was just a perfect timing, kind of thing. And it was the perfect opportunity. One, I was getting a little fed up with the brokerage thing, the constant churn. Like I said, that lawsuit that was coming up that we had settled at that point, but more ramifications were coming for him, and my E&O insurance was going to go through the roof. And even though I did nothing wrong, and the lawsuit didn't even make it, we still were out, thousands of dollars, and, insurance still going to hit you. Right. So EXP was presented, and I saw a few things that I tried to do in my own business as a brokerage. Like, hey, I'll pay you agents to go tell other people about our brokerage, bring other agents in. I'll give you a little piece of every transaction, and I'll pay you a referral bonus the first transaction. Like we do $5,000 up front. Like it was split over their first 4 transactions, and then 2.5% of everything that came in from that agent that was paid to the broker, me. And when I saw EXP, I was like, oh my gosh, they did this, but they did it on such a larger scale and better than I had it. And now they have stock as well. So I actually see some sort of retirement in my future. Most agents never retire. Like they work till the day they die. Their retirement is their funeral. Yeah. I've never been to a real estate agent's retirement party.
Yeah, me neither.
Because they don't exist. Right. Either they fade away and they get out of the business, or they have to work till the day they die because they just don't have enough money to live on. Because we as agents or pseudo entrepreneurs, what we're doing is constantly pouring money back into our business to try to create more business, right? Yeah. Create a better business, better lifestyle for our family. But we don't think about the long term, or a lot of us don't.
That's right. No, and I don't think that's necessarily limited to I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. That's what your my world's been, is real estate. But I feel like, again, people get into entrepreneurship and nobody's really teaching them the business side of things, and especially when you get in, you're just excited and you don't think about an exit strategy because no one talks about that. But I tell new agents now, you need to be thinking about your exit strategy and your retirement plan from day one. If you wait till you're 20 years into the business and then you want to start thinking about it, you're too late. You're behind the curve. You're not going to be able to make up, the time, right? With doing that, and with EXP, I mean, like what they have with their stock options for agents, right? And being able to build themselves a revenue share, as I call the modern team these days, right? It's the modern team, the EXP allows agents to build and to truly build themselves a business under the model without all that risk, liability, overhead. When you're talking about the risk and you didn't even know when your agents, had done whatever it was that got you guys, into courts. I'm reminded of another agent that we have that owned several RE/MAX offices, and he ended up selling them. He's here with EXP, and he said he talked about one time they got sued. One of his agents got sued because after the closing, the buyer couldn't fit his truck in the garage. So it became, I guess, the agent's fault, right? They sued the agent, they sued the brokerage, just RE/MAX brokerage. Anyway, just a big mess. And he's just like, after so many, lawsuits and things like that, as the owner, right, and the broker, it's like, okay, like I don't need all this headache, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's not all, the grass isn't always, as great as we think it is, in different ways.
Yeah, and I think that the way that EXP saw thing with the modern team, and then having the stock compensation is the stock's compensation for me was the biggest draw, because it was like I don't have to do anything different than I'm already doing. Yeah, I'm going to go help buyers buy a home. I'm going to help sellers sell a home, and I'm going to earn a little bit of stock on the back side.
Right, just for doing the sales that we do. That's right. Yeah.
So I could leverage that, and it didn't take anything more from me to do so. Yeah. So it was a benefit without any extra work or any extra pressure, stress, anything like that. Plus, I had to take all that liability off from being my broker, being my own broker. And my retirement before then was, I'll go buy rental homes. Yep. Until I had somebody change their oil pan on their Harley in my living room and cause, $15,000 worth of damage. So, things like that, okay, I don't have an extra 15 grand lying around to replace all the flooring in the house, but you have to do it if you're going to get another renter, right? So inherently there's risk with everything when you're doing that kind of investing for your future. Right. With this, I can do what I normally do. I earn, the stock goes up, stock goes down. Right. Don't care. I'm still buying more stock every single time I close a transaction.
Well, when you're doing the volume you're earning a whole lot of stock, right? As an Icon agent, you earn a lot of stock. And, the agent sometimes will say, well, y'all stock is down, right? I'm like, I don't
Perfect.
care. Right. I don't care. Right. I mean, it's a great time. But but what I also say is I never earned a dollar anywhere else ever, when I worked with any other companies, all great companies. But so if I'm getting a dollar, it's a dollar more than I earn, anywhere else for doing, like you said, what we're already doing. So,
Absolutely.
it's such a blessing. Yeah. So 2 final questions. So I see, I'm going to really put you on the spot here.
Wow.
So I see all these books behind you, which means you are uber smart. All right.
No, those are all fake. They're
all just the bindings of it. No books. So what is I'll say 1 or 2 books that you would recommend if you're a realtor? Doesn't matter if they're new realtors or they've been in the business for a while. What are 1 or 2 must reads that you would say?
Well, you mentioned one already, which is the Cash Flow Quadrant, or Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'd read both of those, Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. Absolutely imperative. Profits First by Mike.
His name I can't say. I'm actually reading that right now. Like I've heard about that book for so many years. I'm a big reader with business books and all, and I've heard about it for so long, and I literally am just now listening. I've both listened to it on Audible, and I've got a hardbound book too. So
I think The Compound Effect is a really good one by Darren Hardy as well. That I read all the time. Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I read that probably once every couple of years or listen to it on audiobook.
So can we just think and then we just grow rich? Is that?
Well, it all starts with your mindset, right?
It is. I've read it. It's a great book. I'm teasing.
Yeah. So, I mean, so everything starts there, so it's a great read. And then Millionaire Real Estate Agent is a good one. I think some of the numbers don't flesh out. I've never thought they fleshed out, but as far as an overall strategic way to communicate with clients and new people and people in your database, it's excellent.
Yeah. Agree with all those. Love all those books. So as we get ready to wrap up here, what are some final thoughts maybe that you would share with folks that might be listening in? Whether, building a business, whether being a part of EXP, any of that, over your 20-year journey, like any final thoughts that you would share?
I would say the biggest thing for you to start with is at least a database of at least 200 people that you can contact.
You cut out a minute there. So a database, that's okay. A database of at least 200 people that
you can contact and communicate with consistently, that already know, like, and trust you, or at least would know you if you walked into the room,
Okay.
And establish a relationship with them. And then I would say get into some kind of coaching, training, mentorship, mastermind program to help you build your skills.
Yeah.
Whether that be communicating on the phone, in person, doing a presentation, or just overall general marketing. I think that's imperative in this industry. And then third is align yourself with good people like you. I know I can call you and ask you any questions and get an answer immediately. And that's really important to have in this business, because this business will tear you down if you don't help others and others don't help you. So.
That's right. 100%. And that's the one thing I actually do love about EXP, like the collaboration that we have, and like you said, I mean, you're in Texas, I'm in Tennessee, but we have this relationship, and I didn't even know you prior to EXP, but we've met, and we do collaborate and share ideas and mastermind. And talking about that, actually, we do as a group, our big team, we actually do a mastermind every week. So, if that's something, if you're listening in as an agent and you want to, come and participate in one of our masterminds, you're welcome to. So reach out to Aaron if you know him, or me if you know me, and we'll get you plugged into, one of our masterminds that we do each week. It's always, very powerful.
Awesome. I get tons from those. I've done a couple of them, but I've also listened in on many of them, and I always have pages of notes that I can implement right straight away in my business.
I know. I love that. Like, you and I are veterans in a business, and, I'm like you. Every time I'm part of one, sometimes I'm contributing, right? But sometimes I'm just sitting there taking notes after notes, like just learning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, more minds are better than just the one. So I love the masterminding. So Aaron, thank you so much for being on with us and just sharing some great tips for these folks today. And, I always just love learning from you and chatting with you. And you're just a rock star. We all just aspire to be, the agent that sells over 3,000 homes. Like, I've sold a lot of homes, but I haven't hit the 3,000 mark yet. So
soon enough.
Soon enough. Soon enough.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day, buddy.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.